everyone, it's Max and welcome to a new week's reading vlog. It's Tuesday. I didn't update you yesterday, didn't read anything yesterday. Are we surprised? I'm not. I don't have any definitive reading plans. I'm trying to mood read within my TBR this month, but the first book I am starting off with is Flamefall by Rosaria Munda. The main reason is that if I can't remember what is going on in this, I'm gonna reread Fireborn. That's because I loved that book so much. It should have been on my top 10 of the year last year, and I do not want this to be like tarnished by me not remembering enough. I own the ebook, so if this doesn't work out, I do have enough time to be able to read Flamefall or Fireborn. So I'm going to do that. This is 480 something pages, so I'm going to try and give myself, like, I just remember flying through Fireborn, so if I get into this and I remember enough, I'm going to try and read it in 2 days. We shall see. Hi guys, it's Thursday. I have not updated you, and that's because I didn't read anything until today. You know, sometimes it just be like that. I am in my car, I just finished my workout, and I thought I'd update you because I have read 175 pages of Flamefall by Rosaria Munda, and this is the sequel to Fireborn, which takes place in kind of like, it's based on Plato's Republic, and there was this revolution a while ago, like no more than like 2 decades, not even 2 decades, like a decade, and the people like overthrew the dragon lords. And we follow 2 new dragon riders. One is an orphan whose family was killed by a dragon lord, and one is a son of one of the dragon lords. Both of them were orphans. They became best friends in an orphanage, and now they are competing with multiple other dragon riders to see who will become like the first rider. That was the first book. This book, we have our first rider. We had a sort of a squashed rebellion. And we've got 3 points of view. I love Annie and her point of view a lot. She's the orphan whose family was killed by the Dragon Lord by, oh my God, what's his name? By Lee's father. And I really like her point of view. She's faced with some hard decisions, and I think she's making all the right ones. Lee, he's pissing me off. He's just really annoying me. I don't think he's making any right decisions. And then there's Griff, who is where he's a point of view for like the other side. And I would like him a lot more if he made more sense. And I don't know, I'm not a big fan of showing the other side unless we are supposed to start like feeling, like understanding the other side. I'm not thinking of the right word. And we don't, like they suck. They're mean and rude and classist. It's not based on race, but it's based on the color of like you test into. Iron is the lowest, gold is the highest, and there's like silver and bronze in between. So like classist, I guess. And they're mean, so I don't really like them. And Griff is fine. I don't think his motivations make sense. Lee is making stupid decisions, and there's a famine. And these people are like rebelling against the lords and like the higher ups because they're getting more food than they are. I get it. And okay, I don't know, something about it is just kind of reminding me of like, you know, Black Lives Matter movement in a good way, but like, you know, where especially in today's climate, it's just like, even though we're not facing a famine with COVID and all of this stuff, it just feels like, you know, they're finally rising up against their oppressors. But Lee and someone else's motivations, well, Lee's especially really feels like a white person like rioting and like looting and destroying stuff, saying he's doing it for the BLM movement, but in actuality he's doing it because he hates the president. You know, that's kind of what feels like, that's my like analogy for what it feels like Lee is doing this for. Because he is a gold. He's always been a gold. He was literally a lord's son. And then at the end of the first book, he is faced with the decision to like go with like the rebels, or the now rebels who were the lords and his family, or stay with the people who now rule. And he decided to stay with the people who now rule. And so he made his choice. He made his bed. And yet he's now rebelling against the guy because he found out something that, yes, sucks. But it's still like, dude, you made your choice. Like, you're gonna just live with it and like figure out, fight more smart, because smart, that's like probably not the right way to say or grammatically incorrect, but he's just like, he's like acting out in obvious ways. And it's like, dude, like, you have the power and the ability to fight smart, not strong, stupid. There's like a term there, whatever. So it's just like, I don't know why he's going this route. I don't know why he's like, feels like he's like acting out. And it's just kind of stupid. So the only point of view I'm really liking is Annie's. Griff's, because I can't stand anyone he's around except one person. And so I'm just like, every time we get to his point of view, I don't like it because I don't like anyone that he's around. He doesn't really have a storyline yet. Lee is just making me really angry with like his decisions. And Annie is the only valid one and I love her. And she's super cool, but I have like 310 pages left. So I'm going to try my hardest to read it all tonight. I'm flying through it. It's a YA fantasy. I read it throughout the day. Like I didn't have like one block of time to read it, but so I got through 175 pages of it. So I'm going to try and read at least most of it today. I did get my second vaccine, so I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow. That's why I really want to try and finish this because I'm still gonna try and read 2 more books this week. It is a tall order, and if I can't finish this tonight, I'll probably just shoot for 2 books then. But the weekend, you know, the weekend is always good for banging out books, but I only have like long books on my TBR. So, the next book I'm gonna read is Archive of the Forgotten. I think that's what it's called, which is a sequel to the Library of the Unwritten. Because that is shorter, and I really, really enjoyed Library of the Unwritten. And then I think if I do finish that with enough time, I'm gonna pick up Venge War by Kevin J. Anderson. Because it's shorter than the first book, and I read the first book in a day. So I definitely could do it. And I'm like really interested, and I'm getting more, like, I'm like excited to pick it up, especially because I remember the most about that book, like Spine of the Dragon, out of all of the books that I'm reading the sequels of this month, because I just read Spine of the Dragon. So I'm like really excited to pick it up. But overall, I am loving Annie's point of view. Like, I'm really enjoying it. I really like her as a character. Lee, driving me crazy. Griff, I need some more likable characters in his point of view to, like, start to actually, like, root for him. Because, I mean, I want him to succeed, but I want him to, like, come to the other place and, like, fight with them against the bad guys. And he's just not. But I'm gonna go, and I will talk to you once I've made more progress. Another thing that I realized annoys me that I forgot to talk about is when people know that one of the like soon-to-be rulers is bad. That also drives me crazy. Like, everyone knows that someone who's going to be like one of the rulers of like our bad guys is like vicious and a villain, and they're still like, yeah, he can be one of the rulers. There's 3 rulers. And I'm like, why would if all of you know he's unfit to rule, why are you letting him? Like, it makes no sense to me. It's just like, kill him. If all of you are in agreement, kill him. Like, it just doesn't, like, what's the worst that can do? If it's everyone against his family, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I just don't get it. And he sucks, and he's mean, and he's awful. And everyone knows it, and just no one does anything about it. And I'm just like, why? Like, it makes no sense to me. And I hate when our villains are just so stereotypically awful and like no one does anything about it, even when they have the power to do something about it. And I'm just like, okay, like, so you're all just ridiculous, and he's here just to be like a bully, and there's no point of it because they could kill him so easily, and yet no one is doing it. And I'm just like, okay, like, what's the point of this? There's no point. And I just can't, like, Griff's main antagonist is awful, and I'm just like, why is no one doing anything about it? Like, you all really think he's gonna be a good leader when he's just going to treat all of his people like garbage? Like, you really think he's gonna be a good leader? And it's just like, no one thinks he's gonna be a good leader, and yet they still let him lead. And it makes no sense to me at all. At all. Anyways, it's Saturday. Didn't read anything yesterday. You know, it's okay. I was not feeling good yesterday, right? It's 6:30. It's so late. I don't know. I'm just not, I don't know. I really, really am tempted to skip over Griff's and Lee's parts and just read Annie's, which I have never done in a book before, ever. Because I'm just too scared that I'm gonna miss something. And I know I will, like, obviously, but it's just, like, I don't like 2 of the 3 points of view. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. And so I just want to read Annie's because I like Annie so much and she is the only one. And I guess I could just go about it being like, yeah, you know, if we just had one main character, like one point of view, we wouldn't know this other stuff either. So we'll find out with Annie. I'd be almost okay with that. I have never done it before. I know people have done it with like Throne of Glass, like people didn't read like Manon's sections or like other people's. I know people have done it for TV shows before and it's been like fine. So I kind of want to. Because this is just like, I just don't want to read it, which is so sad. I loved Fireborn. Maybe I should have reread Fireborn to get myself back to loving Lee. But I didn't know that this was gonna be a problem, and I don't need to reread it because I don't remember what happened, because she honestly did a great job at like subtly reminding us of what has happened, where I don't feel like lost. I just don't like Lee. And Griff is a new point of view, so it's like, I don't know. I just don't like, I'm so sad that it's just not working for me. And I really just want to read Annie's point of views. Maybe I just need to learn to skim. Like I read Annie's point of views in depth and then just skim Griff and Lee's. Or I know how to skim, but actually skim. Like I've been like reading, and I just shouldn't. I should just skim. Now, if I only have one day, which is gonna be the case, to read one book, I don't know, like I could do it for Venge War. I did it with Spy and the Dragon and it was longer, but I guess I'll compare lengths of Venge War and Archive of the Forgotten. Cause I read Library of the Unwritten pretty fast too. So we'll see. And then leave Venge War and maybe Bloody Rose for last week. I guess it depends on how this next week goes. Okay, it's 7:30. We got a puppy over here. And I am 278 pages into Flamefall. And oh, how the tables have turned. Griff, I'm with him now. He has made a good decision. I'm with him. Lee, hate him even more. I just, again, kind of harking to today's climate, I just don't understand like these people who are against I mean, everyone's against the famine, but they're against the rationing. I understand that. It sucks. It's classist and it's not good. But the way that they're going about getting back at the royals is by burning the grain that's gonna be fed, like that's going to feed their people. Like the people who are only getting one ration. If they think that people who are getting the most rations are eating that grain, they're absurd. Like, no, they're not. They've got meats and vegetables. They're not eating your measly little grain. So the fact that they're burning grain stores, it's just hurting them. It is not hurting the upper class at all. So the fact that they think that they're getting anywhere by doing that they're wrong. They're just hurting themselves and their own group. And they're just idiots. Like they don't get that. And Lee is no better. And I just can't stand the guy. I'm like, okay, you suck. And again, it still feels like he's just doing it to get back at the leader. So like I said the other day, it feels like a white person fighting with the BLM and rioting and burning and just saying that it's for BLM, but in actuality it's because he like doesn't like the president, which are two different things. And it's just like I don't know. I mean, obviously like no one likes the famine. No one, even Annie, which Lee doesn't get, agrees with the rations, except the high ups, like the 1%. But it's like they just, I don't know where my point was going. It's like, it's not like Annie's actually the bad guy in this situation because she doesn't agree with the rations. She just knows that there's a different, more pressing bad guy than their own ruler. It's like, let's defeat the outside enemy before we defeat the inside enemy. And she has a great way of deciding that, and that was to make Lee more likable to the public, so that Lee would take over the guy's spot. And he just can't do it. He's like, no, I need him gone now. I need to fight him now. And it's like, dude, like, playing the long game would honestly be more beneficial in the long run, because you would get this position through more like legitimate means. It's not by revolution or acting out and killing him in a spite. It is by having the people choose you to rule. It's legitimate. That may mean that, like, no one could think that he's a revolutionary. No one could call him like his parents. Like, he would win through legitimate means. And like, Annie's friends, like her high up friends, are trying to do that for him, and he is just not getting it. Annie literally told him exactly what she was planning. He agreed with it until the lower class, the Irons, burned the store, like the grain store. And then all of a sudden he's like, nope, I'm on their side. Like, screw you, Annie. And I'm just done with him. He's ignoring all other means of getting his revenge for the most, maybe the fastest way to do it. And it is the stupidest way. And the only people they're hurting are the Ironborn, or the Iron class. And it just drives me crazy. I'm liking Griff now. I love Annie. I like Power, which I never expected, but I am so into him. And honestly, him and Annie, maybe, because Lee can screw off. Annie deserves so much better. And I think Power might be it, because he's having good character development. It's like Lee and Power are almost switching in a way. So yeah, but I flew through that 100 pages. So I've got 200 pages left, which is a lot. Like, man, it does not look like 200 pages. Can we be honest? But we'll see. I'm gonna try, unless something big happens, because I feel like I'm just gonna start sounding like a broken record. I am going to try and not update you till I'm done. So I'll talk to you later. Okay, I thought I wasn't gonna update you until I was done, but here we are. It's 8:30 and I have 100 pages left of Flamefall. I don't know, I'm just sick of everything being so black and white. It is gray, but no, of course there's a clear good guy and a clear bad guy. And I'm just like, that isn't the truth. Like, yes, something really terrible happened, I get it. But that does not mean that these new rebels are the best thing. They are flawed, they are bad too. Like, I know, I get that there will be casualties, but it's the fact that these newer bad guys burn the grain that was really for them. That is what I just can't get behind. They published maps to all of the grain stores, and it's like, okay, so you just want to get rid of rationing altogether so everyone eats everything immediately and then starves. And I'm just like, that is not the way at all to go about this. And the fact that they are all okay with it and think that this is the right thing to do is so stupid. And now, because one thing happened and it was terrible, do not get me wrong, now Annie's also like, yep, they're the only good guys and everyone else sucks. I'm like, that is not true either. Like, I don't know. I'm just sick of the black and white, and I'm sick of, like, how about you reform this system that's already in place? Literally the only thing basically that needs to change is the ruler. That's the only thing that needs to change. But Lee refuses to be, like, not civilized enough, but like charismatic enough and like work with the people that are kind of like the lesser of two evils to get rid of the big evil. He refuses to do it, even though that's the best way to go about this. And my battery's flashing, so this is really fun, but I'm gonna charge it until I'm done with the book. But I'm just done. I'm done with it being black and white and them going with one group that's almost doing the same thing as our other group. It's just for a different people. Like, I don't know. I just can't get behind it. All right, everyone, it's almost midnight, but I did finish earlier Flamefall. Disappointing, very disappointing. She did some characters really dirty, And Power ended up being like, oh, you don't like me? Well, then screw you. And I'm like, I thought Power was having character development and I was actually really liking him. And now he's just back to being a jerk. And I'm just, I don't know, God. Like, I'm just not liking where it went. I don't like how it ended. I didn't like Lee in the end. I still didn't like Lee. Griff was cool. I liked Griff. Annie was fine. But she just, I don't know, I think she just ruined some characters in the end there. I'm a little disappointed. I gave it a 3. I don't know what my, I mean, it's definitely not a 4, but I don't know if it's like a 3.25. Because it just, I mean, I was so irritated reading those 300 pages. Like the whole time I was just irritated. So I don't think that's a good reading experience. And I'm just so sad because I loved Fireborn and this just was not good. It annoyed me so much. I'm so sad. Now I don't know what I'm gonna read tomorrow. I don't know. Venjor or Archive of the Unknown. One of the two. We'll see. But I'll talk to you tomorrow once I've made that decision. I'm sad. Everyone, it's Sunday and I have made a decision on the book I'm gonna pick up, and it is The Archive of the Forgotten. It is much shorter than my other options. It's 350 pages. And I feel like I flew through Library of the Unwritten, and I know that like if I dedicate myself, I will definitely be able to fly through this. So Library of the Unwritten was about a woman who is the library of the Library of Hell. It's basically more like a purgatory, but it is where all unfinished books live. And they can, if like the books like emote enough, they can like take on a human personification, and it is her job to track that personification down in the real world. So when a book does become a human, she goes to the human world to track him down, but an angel kind of takes up this scent that he thinks is the devil's Bible, and it leads him to our main character, Claire. Yeah, Claire. And that just sets off a whole chain of events. I've got a dog here as per usual. She's gonna bark, but really enjoyed the first one, so I'm really excited to pick up the second one. I do think there's gonna be another book after this one. I don't know if anything has been said about it. I'll check really quick, but I don't think so. And I'm really excited to pick it up. So we shall see how this goes, and I'll talk to you later. All right, it is 1:17 and I am 55 pages into The Archive of the Forgotten. I'm about to meet my mom and stepdad for lunch, so I have to go get ready. But overall, I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm only 55 pages in, and they found a pool of ink of unwritten stories. So like they've never seen that, where it's like ink without like a book. And so they're trying to figure out what it is. They've got a plan. I'm still a little confused on what the plan is, I'm gonna be honest. And then Claire and Brevity are definitely butting heads. I don't know, I think it's just like all happening a little too fast, where I kind of wish there was a little bit more like exposition of like what's going on and what their actual plan is, because I'm a little lost, gonna be honest. And the library is reacting to like Brevity's emotions, and Claire literally just said, we'll talk when you're less emotional. And I'm like, ew, I'm like, stop. Like, that's just gross. I don't like hearing that from one woman to another. I don't like it enough when it's like a guy, but like one woman saying it to another, I'm not a fan of at all. So we'll see, but I'm gonna head out. My mom and I think are gonna go golfing after lunch, but I don't golf. So I just sit in the cart and read while she golfs. So that's when I'll do a lot of this reading, and I'll talk to you all later. Hi everyone. It is 8:20 on Sunday, and I just finished The Archive of the Forgotten. I did not update you since I was on page like 55, because since then I've been reading in the presence of like other people, and honestly, it was okay. I thought it was pretty average, like on the whole. I did not think it was that overwhelmingly good. Honestly, I kind of wish it was a standalone, because I really liked the first one, but I think it ended really well, like where it stopped. And this just felt so unnecessary. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, because I didn't dislike it by any means, but overall, I just found it pretty average. So this week I read 2 books that honestly underwhelmed me. First one being Flamefall by Rosaria Munda, which was such a disappointment. I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. I just think she did the characters dirty. I ended up like hating Lee, and it just, I don't like how it ended, and I'm nervous about the next installment for sure. And then, like I just said, I finished The Archive of the Forgotten, which I gave a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was fine. I just don't think it was necessary at all. And I just don't think it needed to be an addition. So, sorry it was a little bit of a disappointment, but I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!